And we're also definitely a generation of seekers because we have the Neptune in Sagittarius that makes us extremely inclined to be more philosophical, to seek different spiritual thoughts, different religions, different ideas, different cultures, instead of just being stuck to one only. The way that you make money, here's your money house right here. Second house is Taurus. So this deals with your resources, it deals with your things, it deals with tangible, physical cash or whatever your resources are. When you have Neptune there, it can be a real funny little squick because Neptune tends to be a very ego denying planet. It's the planet that rules Pisces. So it's all about spirituality and transcendence and letting go of the world. And yet you've got that planet in a very worldly house where it's like, hey, wait a minute. So I would say that with money, the more that you hold on to it, the tighter you try to grasp it, the quicker it goes away. The more generous you are actually with it, the more comes back to you. It's a kind of, counterintuitive idea for most people is that, the more that you kind of are free and easy with it and you're not worried about it, then it comes to you. And if you can find a way to put, creativity, music, the arts, the humanities, more compassion, more sympathy into your work, it gets even better. Because this is also, it doesn't mean that you don't have money, because there's plenty of very successful people that have Neptune in that placement in their chart. But a lot of it is because they really followed their heart and they really did something that truly mattered to them, or something that was more sacrificial. It's just, that's part of it.
In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Adagia of Erasmus. Good evening, everyone. Hi, Shirley. You are very fast at coming into my video. And it's probably videos you don't even want to see, but I'm glad you come and stop by it anyway. Although it's not an open topic show, you can come in and just listen and provide your thoughts as well. You don't have to just watch, and you could talk about it. You could segue if you want a little bit. I probably wouldn't stop you. Anyways, tonight we are talking something that's been in my head recently, and I am gonna just do a little bit of a shout out to Avalanche Amber Ale. It's from Breckenridge Brewery. It's not bad. Most of my taste in amber ale is like I don't get paid for this anyway. I don't get paid for anything. I'm not doing anything. All right, so yeah, amber ale is probably my favorite, I would say. I used to like pale ale when I was in Seattle. I don't know what it is, pyramid pale ale. But I'm out of the pale ale. I don't really like pale ale very much anymore. Amber ale, probably one of my favorite. Fat Tire is good. What's the one in Seattle? In the Northwest, at least. There's a good amber ale. For the life of me, I can't remember it. Man. But every time I go, if I get an amber ale, I know what I'm ordering in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. All right, sorry for the segue. I segue a lot. So yeah, Shirley, if you want to come in, feel free to segue every once in a while. I'm going to go ahead and move it to the desktop. One of the things that was in my mind a lot is the compass, because the compass always points north, and I'm not even on the right page. And so I'm just compass. Why does it always point north? Why did they name it compass? Well, where did the origin come from? Who invented the compass? Why did they name it compass? And another thing, when I'm thinking about all this stuff, it just comes flooding in, and sometimes it passes, and then I think about it again. It's like, inventions things that are in the material. Hi, Aliester. They never name it, right? The inventor never names it, and at least it doesn't stick. Most of the time, when it's sometimes non-material, it's the ones they'll name it after the inventor, but never what the inventor's name for it is. I just find that odd. Sometimes the people who buy the prototype or the patent or whatever it is, they'll name it because it has to be whatever it is. But the inventor who invented it, they never used the inventor's name for it. Isn't that interesting? Okay, anyways, compass. Origin, at least in Google, right? They go in Latin, com means together, and passus is a step or pace. So a step or pace together. Compass. Maybe we're all supposed to come together. Or it's we all come and pass together. There's a lot of theories on what's at the magnetic North Pole. For some people who believe in the authorities and the government and people who lead us in this land of the blind, they'll tell you nothing is there. You don't have to worry about it. We can't get there. You can't get there. There's nothing there anyways, so why would you want to get to a place where you can't get to? But all compasses point north. You've got places where they have contraptions and machines and inventions where they have a magnetic field that's a million, not just a million, but 2 million times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field. They tell you that Earth's magnetic field is pretty weak. From somewhere, mass is either magnetic or non-magnetic, yet Earth's magnetic field is so weak. When they turn on these devices, all of our compasses don't turn to where it is, which is in Florida, folks. The man-made's most powerful magnet is in Florida, and it is 2 million times, at least in the latest records, 2 decades ago. It's 2 million times stronger than Earth's magnetic field. Yet when they turn it on, no one goes, "Hey, why is my compass pointing southeast?" At least it'd be southeast for me. It still points north for something so powerful that was man-made there, and something so weak as the Earth's magnetic field. Compasses still keep pointing north, don't they? Isn't that a little weird? Maybe they're lying to you about something. Again, one of the things I am gonna do, I think I'm gonna make a series of videos, not like on topic where I'm just talking. I'm actually just gonna do it as like a presentation. I'll probably talk into it. I'm gonna add in visuals, snippets of videos, images, and voiceovers like me, and it's gonna get to a certain point. And you know what it's gonna be about? It's gonna be about the process of awakening, the layers of awakening. I haven't figured out a title yet. I gotta make the first video. I'll probably focus on it tomorrow. But you're gonna go through a focus of awakening. Focus of awakening. Well, this focus is on awakening. The focus is about awakening, and I think it's something that needs to be done because you're going to come across so many things. It's going to be about the control factor. You're going to go through different indicators of control, which is religion. I was never controlled by religion. That was easy for me. Government, another version of control. Money, another version of control. Information is a big one. People don't really see it. Fame can going to start finding things are quite different than you've been told, because the ones who are controlling everything, all those people who control all those areas, you're going to question them. reason why you question them is you find that they are very hypocritical. They are hypocrites, and hypocrites are also liars, and liars lie. And the reason for lying is to get away with something. Otherwise, you would just tell the truth. You want to lie because if you told someone the truth, they wouldn't do what they want you to do. People lie so you don't know what's going on, that you can't prevent them from doing what they're doing. You can't condemn them from doing what they're doing because you have no idea what they're doing. They just lie. And so one of the biggest things, and this is going to go over many times in those series of videos, is why would they lie? Everyone who goes through it is, why would they lie? Well, yeah. Would you lie? Why do you lie? If you've lied or someone else, you lie. I mean, humans every day, we lie. And why do we lie? Control factors. We want to control them in some way. Because if you can't control them, they'll do something you don't want them to do. And usually it's because you're being a little bit violent towards them in some way. You're doing something you know they wouldn't like. Otherwise, you wouldn't lie. If it was someone was doing something that if you were doing something that they liked, you would just tell them the truth of what you did. Sometimes the only lie that you would do, where you're lying to them, even though you're doing something that they like you doing, it's usually because it's a surprise, right? You're planning a birthday party for them or some party, or you've got a present and you want them to be excited when they open it. So, they'll ask and you lie, and that's kind of a good lie. Most times lies are pretty bad. Hi Ryan, how's it going? Long time no see. You look pretty, by the way, with your long red hair and very feminine look. Your last two videos. Yeah, beer. Yeah. But you know what? Even though I am part of the system, I am situated, figure things out. So when I'm gone, adventuring to the magnetic North Pole should be an easy destination. It's probably not, but that's my action. I find more answers there. I mean, everything that's written in books, many lost, many burnt, many stashed away, are gone. Not all of it's digitized. The ones that's digitized, the most information we can find are the people who've gone through it or have very, very logical thought processes where we see their thought processes go, talk to one another, and we make decisions. But most of it's going to be theory anyway. What's at the magnetic North Pole? People who are in government are going to say, well, there's nothing there. It's dangerous. We're not going to let you go. People who have money are going to say, you're not going to survive out there. You might want to buy our products because it's going to be like this. And it's like, how do you know what's up there? They go, well, that's what the government says. That's just how it is. I don't know what's up there, but buy our products because you're going to live longer if you buy our products. It's because it's this. I don't know what FW all day is. I don't have to want to ban you, little guy. Jeez. Let's see. Let's see. That lost my train of thought. Yeah, and then of course the religion. It's tough because religion is different. I think those who have their own spiritual version of what wasn't supposed to be religion a lot of things were the origin of religion, the god, the higher ones, they didn't want things to be mandated by a human, right? They didn't want one person saying to everyone else, "This is how it is." It's the how it is how it is, and we're all supposed to find a way to just go with it. And we're all not going with it. We're all just saying, "Hey, what's everyone else doing? I guess I'm supposed to be doing that. I have no idea. Everyone's telling me to do this." It's like, "Hey, I think I don't want to do this." And they're going, "What? You don't want to do this? Hey, that guy over there, he doesn't want to do this. Oh man, we better talk to him or something. Why wouldn't he want to do this? I don't know." And someone else goes, "Hey, yeah, why are we doing this? Why can't we be like him and not do this?" It's like, "Oh my goodness, there's another person that's saying, why, asking questions." It's like, we gotta do something. We gotta find a way to control those people so they don't question things. First thing you're gonna notice when you start questioning things, questioning authority even, they're gonna try to shut you down. They're gonna ridicule you, they're gonna shame you, and then they're gonna find ways to control you again, punish you in some way. It's like, how dare you question? You're questioning this? You're questioning that? What do you mean you don't know? It's like, do you know? Well, it doesn't matter if I know. You're not supposed to question. It's like, isn't what we're supposed to do is question? Isn't that like for people who are in science? Aren't you supposed to question science? So, isn't that the whole point of science? And those who are religious, like, shouldn't we? Wait, why can't we question the Bible or the words that are spoken? I mean, if it's like written by secret societies or rewritten, I mean, shouldn't we know about that? And people go, no. What's written here is what was written by God, even though it was translated by men. And even though there's more stuff added by other men, actually, it was all written by men, but all these men were witnesses to God. And so, what, we can't question that? I mean, motives? Everyone has motives. Keeps us from searching and acting, right? Keeps us from questioning. And so, yeah, the series is going to be about steps of the awakening. What you're going to find happening to you, because it's happened to everyone who's been down this path. And then how everyone just seems to just think you crazy or weird or whatever. And then when you talk to them about it, they don't really want to listen. And every time you ask the question, "Have you done any research on it?" they go, "No." It's like, shouldn't you do some research on it? And they go, "I don't need to." They'll find some reason where if you do any research somewhere or anywhere, they're going to be just saying, "What, you're gonna listen to someone on YouTube, you're going to listen to someone on the radio, you're going to listen to someone who wrote a book, you're going to listen to someone who was in the government." I mean, it doesn't matter where you point them to. It's like, hey, even the government on a .gov site, they say it right there. They're telling you right there of what it is, what's going on. And if you don't trust anyone else and you want to trust and listen to the authorities for government, it's right there. They go, "Yeah, whatever." It's like, no, I'm seriously. It's right there. You can type in the URL, blah, 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 .gov, blah, 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 .gov. And they'll be like, whatever. Just do whatever you want. They don't care. They don't want to listen. You're going to go through that. And I think that's why this series is important, because you're going to be like, you're going to be doing your darndest. It's like when I was in the Navy, we were in San Diego, and one of my friends that I was out with, and he got into a very big debate with someone who was maybe it was a Baptist or something, but someone who was really religious. They got into maybe like a 2-hour debate. It was just one person not listening to the other, saying what he wants to say, and the other is not listening to the other person, just repeating what he's repeating scripture and all this other stuff. And that was it. It was just one person listening to no one, two people not listening to each other, but each of them talking to each other. And it's going to be the same way. And so eventually, for me, it's just they're going to go at their own pace. They're going to realize or not realize. You can make an attempt, but you know what? It's just really based on here's the information that I found, and you can find it whether in the authorities that you follow and whether you believe them or not. And you're going to find these people who are probably working or used to work and they became whistleblowers and whatever. And then, of course, on the other hand, those could be plants, whatever, controlled opposition. And then you've actually got the controlled opposition where you don't, sometimes they are, you know who they are and they're paid, and you see this drastic turnaround. You see a 180, just like those in the progressive circles who know Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow started off very much like very many of the people who do the progressive type of podcasts and shows right now. And then what we're going to see in probably 10, 15 years, hey, you might see, and I hope not, you might see Jimmy Dore on CNN having his own show, or MSNBC, just like Rachel Maddow is today. I hope not, but that's how it usually ends up being. And then you're going to see a whole bunch of trolls, ninjas out in the masses, and you'll never know their names, you'll never know their face, you'll hear their voices, and they'll tell you a lot of things that seem to make sense with the esoteric stuff, and then some of the things that don't make sense, and it feels very, very controlled. It's a lot of stuff, I'm telling you. And then the deeper and deeper you go, your mind's gonna be made up on certain things. It's not gonna be a conspiracy theory anymore. It is a conspiracy, and you'll find that everything is a conspiracy, and then everyone's gonna be telling you how you conspiracy theorist. And even if, like I said, even if you point to them to government documentations, even in .gov sites, and they're just not going to believe you anyway. So it doesn't matter what you tell them. You just got to present your information, and this is what people are going to say, and this is what you end up doing because of what you learned. And that's the most important thing. What are you going to do once you learn that something, someone, some entity, some organization is doing something and lying about it, or just telling you straight up that this is what they're doing, and everyone else is saying no, it's not what they're doing, it's not what they say, it's not what they don't say, it's not what they do, it's just what we believe that they do, and that's all that matters. And that does not make sense to me. That does not make sense to a lot of people, and a lot of people are waking up to it and doing research, and a lot of other people out there are not, and just I don't know. And that's why it brings me to this, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And when I keep thinking about that is, it kind of makes sense, because when we're here, it seems like everyone's blind. It's like everyone's a zombie, and other term for it is like NPC, and other people. And even if you go further back through old texts, ancient texts, and I've been reading the Book of Enoch and stuff like that, but even, or the Nag Hammadi, and the Nag Hammadi, and even the Bible, there's a mention of like the unmoved people who will find the truth, seek the truth, and do what's right no matter what, right? And then there are 4 different other types of people who will kind of listen to it and just kind of go back to what they're doing, understanding that that's how things should be, but that's not how things are. Or some people are just turning a blind eye to it, etc. I'm gonna have to look for that while I'm here. Anyways, while I'm nothing to show you yet, since I'm just kind of spouting on. I think it's the beer. The beer helps you just kind of talk and not really focus on anything. But hello, Nash. Haven't heard you in a while. That's good too. Although we did talk to you a week ago at least. So that's the series that I was gonna kind of talk about. And it's gonna be just a little bit nice. I don't think I'm gonna make it long. I mean, each one could be anywhere from 5 to 15 to 30 minutes. Some of it I just kind of want to show just snippets of each thing, each people, these liars, these we kicked them out of their houses that they bought, you know, just a whole bunch of things. And other than that, but the thing is, people are going to, that's where kind of war happens. And they're going to have the, here again, money, the one eye. They're going to have the power to buy people because people who are still entrenched into the system where the one-eyed man is king. I don't know if it's a man. It's just a quote. Maybe that's where we get to it. So we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants as usual on topic. Okay, so I was thinking, okay, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I've heard that a lot. I've never really looked into who said it and why he said it. And idiomation.wordpress.com as the first one that came back in Google, and by Elias Bruce on July 5th, 2011. So there's different expressions of it. When you hear the expression, the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, you know, what it means and all this other stuff. Yeah. It's even in the Bible, variations of it, like in Matthew 15:14, if a blind man leads a blind man, both will fall into a pit. No, duh. It's also found in Luke 6:39. That's why, you know, you can't take this literally. Sometimes it's like, I call my wife Admiral. She goes above captain status, you know, Captain Obvious. She's Admiral Obvious. It's so bad. I have to call her Admiral, and she laughs. But my daughter kind of starts doing the same thing. You know, she states the obvious, and I call her Captain. And of course, we can't have two captains, so the mom naturally has to be the Admiral. Okay, it's also found in Luke 6:39 as, can a blind man lead a blind man? Will they both not fall into a pit? Yeah. On June 16th, well, interestingly enough, I did not know this, but okay. Sorry, I was just reading silently. Sometimes when you're on a podcast or video casts, you really don't want to read silently because everyone else is just kind of waiting. If they're just sometimes I do the dishes and stuff like that, or fold the laundry, or I'm reading and I'll just turn on a podcast. Great thing about podcasts, you're expected not to be watching, you're just listening, so I know I'm not missing out on stuff. So just kind of, maybe I'll just kind of consider this is some semi podcast. It's not important if you watch the screen. You're just gonna watch me talk, and you know, of course, I'm gonna have some visuals up here, usually websites or pictures, and you can just watch. You can usually just go and find them yourself anyway. Okay. Another interpretation is in the monarchy of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And let's see. In the people of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. But it's just here's a twist on the Bible passage by Reverend Donna McIntosh, cited by John Rain, 1678. A man were better be half blind than have both eyes out. And then, of course, Desiderius Erasmus, and he wrote Adagia and then kind of renamed it after he added more proverbs and adages, which I kind of want to go over because I never read it. And then I looked for the real thing, and it's in Italian or something like that. I don't know Italian. So there is like a translation of it written back in like 1814. So I'll just kind of go over. And how do I not like you, Nash? I just don't see your face. You could be an agent for all I know, but right now I like you. Whether you're an agent or not, I still like you. Heck, you could be an agent that I probably hate. I'll probably still like you in some ways or another. I just like people being good, people helping other people. Eventually, if you're one of those people that become that type of person, heck, I'm gonna like you. If you're not one of those people, you're a jackass, you're an asshole, you're violent. Yeah, I'm not gonna like you. But you probably wouldn't want to listen to someone who doesn't like you. Oh, sorry. I don't know who you're talking to, Nash. All right. So, anyways, I just kind of looked at the again Desiderius Erasmus. You could read up on him. I didn't know who he was. I mean, I kind of knew who Erasmus was, but I didn't really look into who Erasmus was. And it might be good to read up more about him. But again, it's like, where do I want to read up on him? Do I want to read up on him in Wikipedia or some Britannica? Which source am I going to go and read up on Erasmus? I mean, most of it is. It's not like I'm going to find some very esoteric site that comes up in like the 150th search results about the Desiderius Erasmus that no one knew about. I mean, it's how do you find that stuff? Someone has to find it in some book. It's saying, oh my goodness, this is something about Desiderius Erasmus that no one else said. And then you're not going to get any traction on it unless the powers that be want to give traction to it. So, yes, I knew you were an agent. Thanks for finally admitting it, Nash. Great. So the Adagia. So, and actually, I was looking for the Adagiorium Chiliada's English PDF, and this brought me to here, and here it is. Archive.org. It's great. They seem to digitalize everything, archive everything, and of course, only 13,585 views. I kind of wanted to go over it, but at the end, I'm just gonna go over it later. 562 pages. I skipped the preface, so it's on page 22. Yeah, it'd be a long read. So let's I'll hire you and pay you in thank yous, Nash. All right. So money. A lot of people have money equals one eye. And usually it's true. Wherever you find money, you might be able to see the eye of providence, and the eye of providence is everywhere. And just going up, I just keep going up to the source. Here's the thing: when you are an investigator or researcher, you need to go to source. And even the people who are investigating spirituality, you have to go to source, whether that's through religion or whatever. You have to go to source. Source is the origin of everything. You know, that's if you want to go spiritually to find a source, you're going to have to find the highest of the high. I sometimes don't even want to call it God or Lord, because it's just not the highest of the high or the lightest of the light or whatever you want to call it. It's just the best of the best. It's just something that's just you can't really know. Like, for example, if a creator, some being, created the universe as we know it, the skies, the stars, the earth, the moon, the sun, the seas, and everything else around it, but they didn't create us humans, do we still call that being our creator? Or do we call the creator the ones who created the human race? Do we call that being the creator? Or maybe we were created, but then someone else came along and messed with our DNA or messed with our spirituality and messed with us and created hybrids of us, domesticated us. Do we call that the creator? So, in so many different types of ancient texts, and then we're here, who do we call the creator? God. Or the creator, if we don't even want to call it God. So there's that for you for the spirituality, and then for religion, that aspect too. And if you go to the highest that you see in religion, what do we see? People telling us all the stuff, and what God is saying. They're telling us what God is saying, or the Creator is saying. Because we're not allowed to know, because we're just we're not worthy. Our brain's not there, but they are. They're the special people. They're anointed by God or whoever it is that they can preach. And then when we go into their details, we look and see that they tell us money is material and we need to reject it and stuff like that. Yet they're millionaires, if not billionaires. They drive around Rolls Royces. They buy their wives Rolls Royces. They ask for more money so they can buy a private jet. They very hypocritical. Again, the series that I want to make is going to point all that out. And so and then of course they go, yeah, you should not sin, you shouldn't covet thy neighbor's wife and all this other stuff, and next thing you know, they're cheating on you, or they're pedophiles or whatever. Yeah, so it's religion for you. Same thing with government. You think your government's good. Oh, all we need is the right person. And, the right person that you've ever thought of, if they were around today, you would probably not like them, or they would just be dead. Or you're picking the person that's available now, whether it's Trump, whether it's going to be Hillary in 2020, or whether it's Obama in 2008 to 2016, or George W. Bush. Oh, they're the best. They're the, if you're looking to them as the highest of the government form, and those are persons that you want to emulate and become, you're going to be disappointed. They're liars and hypocrites as well. And of course, they also make a lot of money. They get away with things. There's no justice system that can touch them. And you're going to see that time and time again. And of course, it goes on and on, whether you want to go through fame or information or money. Again, money, let's go to the bankers. Who prints the money? Who owns the money? So they can print money, but no one else can. If you print money, it's called counterfeiting, and you're going to be put in prison. If they print money, they can do it. They're allowed. Why? No one knows. Just they can. They're bankers. So can you be a banker? No, you can't be a banker. Then how did they become a banker? They're bankers, and bankers create other bankers. So you can't be a banker, because you're just going to be a criminal if you do become a banker without the bankers knowing that you're a banker. Yeah, see where I'm going? And you'll see a lot of stuff about the bankers, how they meddle with countries, and really countries, why do they need bankers? They don't need bankers. Countries don't. Yet any country that seems to want to survive and stay a country, they're going to work with the bankers. They're probably even going to have to pick a religious faction. They're going to have to either support the Zionists in Israel. They're going to need to either support the Catholics and the Jesuits in Catholicism, or they're going to need to support the Saudis in the Islamic religious areas. So there you go. You're going to have to support a country. Will need, in order to stay a country, it seems in this time, they're going to need bankers. They're going to need religions to keep control. A country shouldn't need that. The country has resources. Do bankers have resources? No, but they print money where they can just go ahead and purchase as much resources as they want within your country, if you allow them to. And that's what, of course, almost every country has allowed them to do. They created money. They say, hey, you're a country that needs money. And they go, we don't need your stinking money. And they go, hey, you three big triads of the religious order, you better speak some sense into them if they want to stay as a country. But, we don't want to fight the war, but we know that people will fight for you, fight for God. They won't fight for money. Of course, that's changing. A lot of people will fight for money. That's why, You go into the military and you get a nice paycheck, or you go into the army back in the past. They say they promise you land. Who's not gonna want to kill a couple of people for land or some money? They're gonna do it because they got nothing else to do. They're not gonna make that money and gain that land by becoming a lord. They're never gonna become a lord. They're never gonna be able to have enough money being a dishwasher or, a cook. They're not gonna end up being like a, I'm talking medieval days, like a what is it, a duke or something like that, or earl. It's like, no, you're gonna have to go and join the military. You're gonna have to survive everyone trying to kill you and kill them, and of course you're gonna have to follow orders. So hopefully you have a good captain who will pretty much keep you alive and make sure you go home, retire, and you have land, you have money, and you have a nice sizable guard or whatever it is, and then when it's needed, you get called upon by your king, and then there you go, you're off to war again, and hopefully you get some money. I've been watching so many historical fiction stuff. Let's see. So one eye, the money. It all seems to point to the one eye, and eye of providence, God. So that's why I don't like using the term God, Lord. I think I was never religious anyway. And then of course if you go to celebrities and Hollywood and stuff like that, and even sports, why do so many of them have to use the one-eyed symbolism? Why? I mean, is there something to it, or is there nothing to it? And this is where you find the most, I think, controlled opposition, or shills, whatever you want to call it. You're going to see just so many people just reporting on this all the time. And sometimes I think it's planned that way because you just focus on this and you don't focus on anything deeper. You just get stuck on this and go, okay, we're ruled by Satan worshippers or Satanists or devil worshippers or, whatever. It's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? No, I'm nothing. I'm just going to say that that's what they are. And, even though I'll keep watching their movies and their TV shows, I just know in my mind that they're Satanists. Nothing changes. You're one of those who see this, but then nothing changes for you. You're just gonna keep watching and keep listening, and keep doing the same old. So of course, if I keep going back into the origin of the compass, you know what? It pretty much tells you that no one really knows where the origin came from. They're saying it was probably created by the Chinese and the Han Dynasty around 200 BC or something like that. And so you're wondering, wait. So before 200 BC, no one's ever used a compass? No one? I mean, no one? And then, of course, if you go further back through ancient history, they say, oh, yeah, actually, way back, thousands of years ago, yeah, the compasses were probably made, but then they probably got lost, or at least we didn't know about someone having it. And then we just found it reported from the Chinese in 200 BC, and there you go. A lot of questions with the compass at any rate anyways. I mean, who ever thought of like, hey, look, there's this little magnetic thing. They stick to each other, and you kind of have to pull them apart, but if you get them close enough, they'll stick together again. Why don't we get a stick, not just a block or whatever, a stick, and just put it on, let it hover, or put it on a table that's very slick, that doesn't have many friction, or put it on water or something like that, and see where it goes. And you know what? It keeps going to one direction. And it's like, okay, now what do we call that direction? I don't know. Why don't we just call it north? So why would you call, what's north? Why would you call it north? I don't know. You just said, hey, it's just a name. So, the origin of the compass, whoever created the compass, whoever found out that little needle, the magnetic end against the non-magnetic end, or the south side of the magnet, which is being attracted to the north side. I mean, how did they know it was north-south part of the magnet anyways? They're going to have to find out where it points to and why it keeps pointing in that direction. Even if they move in that direction, it stays there. If they move in a different direction and turn, it still points to that spot. If they go the other way, it still points to that spot. If they turn around, the compass needle still points to that spot. So, why don't we go to that spot? That way we know what to call that direction. And of course, they probably already know by just going out at night or just by the position of the sun. They go, okay, we know the stars, the constellations, so it's pointing at Polaris. So that's why it's north. And then, of course, then it begs the question, well, if they knew about the stars and constellations first, and most likely they did, it's like, how do we name that star Polaris? And why is it always just staying there every night? No matter what, that's the only one that doesn't really move. I don't know. What should we call it? Let's call it North. It's like, why North? What's with you and North? Like, oh, I don't know. North just sounds cool. Yeah, that'd just be way too coincidental. So what they actually have to do is go to that point. Okay, we're under the star that doesn't move. Now let's call it North. So where do these origins of directions come from anyway? I mean, where do you start at, and where do you say, hey, this position that never moves, it's called North. Everything around it, we're going to call something different. And then, of course, if it's a flat world, you got North, and you got East and West, and you got South, which is out there. There's no real fourth direction, you know. Just weird. The direction of flat Earth is weird. Of course, because we've all grown up with the globe directional. But still, where do you come up with these terms, these directions, anyways? And where do you mark to start? Like, say if you're at the South Pole, or like first, like which direction came first, chicken or the egg? Let's do the chicken or the egg. Which direction came first? Did North come first? Did South come first? Did East come first? Or did West come first? You could say, okay, the sun always rises in the east and sets in the west, no matter what, right? So maybe east and west came first. And then they had to dictate, okay, let's find north and south. So how we're going to find when it's north and when it's south. And of course, hey, look, there's a star. They don't know what its name is yet. They just call it whatever until they figure out something. And they go, okay, that part of the sky never moves. We know from that star, the sun comes up from this angle, and the sun sets at this angle. So that would be maybe north, right? That makes sense. And they go, okay, so if we got three directions, what's that other side? What's the other direction that we're going? I don't know. Let's find something in the night sky that stays constant. Everyone looks. I don't see anything that's constant in the south. Does anything rise from the south? The sun doesn't rise from it. The moon doesn't. The sun doesn't. Or the go down. I don't know. Why don't we just go the opposite of where that star that never moves goes, and we'll just see where it takes us, and that will be south. We've never found anything that's south. I'll bet you anything. South was the last direction ever known. That's why when things go bad, things go south. All right? Have you thought about that? Isn't that weird how we kind of always remember these types of words or sentences? When things go bad, things go south. All compasses point north. Maybe that's telling you something. You don't want to go south because things go bad when you go south. What if things go bad when you go south? Heck, you might want to keep going north. Oh. Wow. I've been talking for 50 minutes. People are still here? What is going on in this world? 9 people watching. What are you guys watching for? You guys, no one else is on? Let's go open topic later. Stay up and party so I can bash the brainwashing. You can join. I told Shirley, you can join. We just have to talk about the topics I'm talking about. And with a segue or two, if it's just kind of ties in with what I'm saying. What is going on? That you'll call in and be sober while I'm the one drinking? World really is upside down, I'm telling you. Okay, so that's my free thinking little spiel that I just kind of want to get off my chest, right? So, chicken or the egg? Which direction came first? Which direction doesn't have a fixed point that we can all focus to? South. Things go south. Don't want that to happen. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Who is the one-eyed man in this land of the blind? All right, let's just go over some proverbs, not provinces. Oh my goodness, what am I saying? There's just a lot of stuff, so I'm just gonna kind of skim over some things, and if I find something that just kind of hits my fancy, I'll just go ahead and say it out loud. How about that? Because a lot of this stuff, again, is just and it's hard to read silently fast and talk at the same time, so you may have some pauses just so I can go ahead and find what I'm looking for. Or if you see something that hits your fancy, go ahead and let me know, and we can go and read that part. Because of course there's going to be, I would say, tons and tons of proverbs. Right now we're on 28, and of course I haven't found one that I liked yet, or at least one that's easy. But I think I found it, because look, here's the first one, right? How about this? Ignem ne gladio fodito. Damn, I really need someone who's Latin or Italian. I don't know. It's all Greek to me. Haha. And the translation of it goes, do not stir the fire with a sword. Do not irritate an angry person. Rather endeavor to soothe and appease them. And take some more convenient opportunity for reproof. When no longer under the influence of passion, he may hear and be benefited by your remonstrances. That's pretty good. It makes sense. Wise words. Maybe this is just, maybe that's what proverbs and adages are. They keep saying it because it's true. So interesting. Sure, Nash, that's great. All right, for those of you, I am gonna go ahead and hide Zoom so you won't see me for a little bit while I let in the Agent Nash, and so I can rename Nash Agent Nash. How you going, Agent Nash? Oh shoot, I did the wrong thing. Fuck. That's what happens when I drink beer. I didn't think about taking you off of getting off the desktop. Hopefully no one calls you and bothers you, Nash. I'm sorry. That's what I get for handling the reins with beer. I can't hear you, by the way, if you're talking.
No, I haven't talked yet.
Okay, there
we go. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you. Sounds good. All right, so let me know if you want to say, while I'm reading through, if you want to stop at a proverb that you like. Here's one. Fabus abstineto. Abstain from beans. How about that one? It was an admonition of Pythagoras to his followers, meaning that to exhort them not to interfere in the election of magistrates in which it should seem there was the same heat and contention, the same violence and confusion is to often occur among us when persons are elected to places of honor or profit. The electors among the Athenians were used to poll or give their suffrages by putting beans instead of white or black stones, as on other occasions, into a vase placed for the purpose. Pythagoras also admonishes when the wind rises to worship the echo, that is, in times of tumult or dissension, to retire into the country, the seat of the echo. This stuff that's written in 1814, I'm telling you, it's just quite.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Hollywood is run amok with. Do you remember a movie called Krull?
Yeah, I think I liked Krull.
Yeah, it's an old movie. There's a Cyclops in the movie who's a good guy, and he sacrificed one eye for vision, but he was cheated and fooled, right? And the only vision he was allowed to see was his own death.
Oh, that sucks. Maybe I'm not thinking of the right movie that I think I was thinking of.
No, it's that same movie from There's only one movie, Crawl, man.
Yeah, I know, but I think I might be thinking of something else because I don't remember that part. Yeah, I remember this one. I don't remember that part. Wait, am I thinking? I'm thinking it's the right movie that I'm thinking of because he's taking care of it. No. I'm thinking of some other movie. Holy crap! But I do remember I watched Kroll. I just don't remember it. But
this is Agent Nash you're talking to. Come on, brother.
Dude, I'm gonna have to really have another look at Kroll. I was thinking of the movie where some guy takes care of an alien kid. I don't know what movie that was. Okay, so much for that segue. But okay, I didn't know that there was a Cyclops in this movie. That sounds pretty esoteric, huh?
Well, the whole movie Crawl is, there's a lot going on in there,
Liam Neeson was in it? Holy crap, a young Liam Neeson.
Yep.
Robbie Coltrane? I don't know, but Coltrane was in it. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to have to watch that. That's pretty cool. All right, see? I would never have known that if you did not hop on. Now I lost my place. Okay, Proverbs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of symbology and a lot of that whole language of stuff that I think you'll be picking it apart. Now with the eyes you have now, looking at that movie, you'll be like, wow, this was shown in, what was that, early '80s?
It looks like it'd be in the 70s. Let me see.
70s. It's an old. Yeah.
Oh no, it was the 80s, 1983. I would have been 5. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to give it a look.
Yeah, so I was probably 12 or I don't know, 83. 12 turning 13, 14.
Well, we're gonna have we'll have a Kroll night. we will review Kroll, movie in 1983 that no one really cares to watch today, but it's got Liam Neeson in it, and so we are going to give it a shot. All right. Continuing on with the Proverbs. Arctum annulum negestato. It says, do not wear a ring or a shoe, we say, that is too tight, which may impede you in walking or in any other actions. So metaphorically, do not by imprudence waste your property and contract debts, which will lead to loss of your liberty. Neither pay so much deference to the opinions of others as to embrace them implicitly without first submitting them to a careful examination. Hey, those are good words to live by. I mean, of course, we see a lot of people wearing tight pants and stuff like that. And it's probably a good thing not to wear tight pants or tighty whities. Hey, if you wear tighty whities, remember your sperm count goes low. So that's probably something that people should have known back in the 70s.
To me, as long if women are wearing tight pants, I'm down with that. Men, it's kind of weird to me. But
I guess that's true. But you know what? Almost anything women do, it seems to be all right. As far as what they wear or what they don't wear.
I mean, don't you kind of like it a little bit?
Depends on the woman. If my wife wore it, I wouldn't care. I'd be all for it.
Yes, that's true. There are some women that should not wear tight pants. There's no doubt.
All right, so talenti onus auxiliary. Man, we can go through this. We could do one a day, and it would take a year and a half. But we're just gonna go breeze through them.
Who translates all this stuff that we're now reading in English?
This was by Robert R. Bland, Robert Bland, 1730 to 1816. So he took, that's just how long he lived. It was published in 1814. So, and it probably took a while, but he's the one who translated this. It's pretty nice to do. Someone from way back in, that's 200 years ago, over 200 years that this was translated. Things are so much different now than it was back then. And like, if you're a translator, who edits your translations? You just need another translator or two, but who are you going to have? It's like, hey, I translated this, teacher. Can you go ahead and edit this? and then your instructor who instructed you on the translations in the first place is, yeah, it looks
I know, but
fine.
somewhere along the line, didn't someone kind of just like fill in the pieces of the puzzle, kind of make up their own shit somewhere? You know, like I don't know what that fucking says.
They probably did. It was like, hey, I don't know what this means. Does anyone else know? No, you're the best translator in the world. You should know. It's like, oh well, I guess I'll make it up. No one else would know. All right? Don't you ever think that way?
Well, you know, I question everything which you encourage.
Yeah.
And, you know, including translations and history and all through it. And to the victor goes the spoils, the winner rewrites history. You know, so you got to even question what we're told. Some guy translated this. Do you know what the fuck that means? Do you know what those letters mean? You know, it's like.
But we could still go by the translation if it makes sense to us. I mean, so far the proverbs that's been said makes sense. I would live by it. All right. I mean, you don't see me wearing things too tight. Although some of these things like debts and all that, probably something I should learn early in my life. But again, early in your life, you're not going to listen. You're going to be like, I'll figure it out. It's just like let's look at our politics. We keep borrowing debt. And it's like, don't worry. Our grandkids will pay it off. And then our grandkids go, oh, don't worry. Our grandkids will pay off the debt we received from our grandparents. It keeps going and going and going and going. And then
absolutely, you know, it'll be $100 trillion. And then the U.S. government will say, you know what, let's invent $1 trillion coin. Just one coin. And, you know, we'll just pay it off with that. And it's make believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of, you know, what is the dollar? What is money? It's just a way for people to transact, but we can't transact without giving the government their cut.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can't buy, own, sell, earn anything without giving the mafia their cut.
Oh, yeah.
They can't do anything.
They want a cut of everything.
So, I mean, this whole system that everyone's like indoctrinated into and thinks that like this is normal. Well, what is your solution? This whole you've been born into this. Your parents were born into it. Your grandparents were born into it. This goes back hundreds, if not thousands, before America was created. This goes way back.
And I think this
before America was created.
Yeah, you know, this is why I think the millennials are important, or each generation that becomes born is important, because they're born into it without having a say into it. Just like we never had a say into what we were born into. You know, just people, our parents and everyone else that are older than us say, this is just the way it is and always has been. This is like, well, we never had a say in it. If this is a democracy, we've never had a say in this democracy, right? And so I think I've heard a couple of people saying it, but I don't want to give the wrong names to the wrong people who said it. But yeah, we were not born into it with the say of how things are going to be. And so if we're going, living by things how our generations before us have said things are going to be for us, and we have no say into it, you know, I think it's time where we have a say into it, because things are not working out for us. Heck, it's not even working out for them, right? The people before us,
who is it?
It's not working out for them.
Who is any of this working for? I mean, you see the whole world just, you know, in flames. Everything's falling apart. Nobody's really thriving, happy, because they're all walking around in a fog, and they're all like, well, you know, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Well, it's been an hour. It's kind of a long time. Is there anything on your mind? Do we want to go to an open topic? We can switch to an open topic if you want. Otherwise, I'm just going to read a bunch of proverbs from a translator. We don't know how good he is. And just kind of go by the translations and see, hey, do we like this proverb or not? And of course, yeah. And it's in the old English, right? 200 years ago, where they talk very English. I don't know. What do we call them? Talking very elegantly, or Englishly? Is that even a word?
The Queen's English.
Queen's English.
I don't know. Yeah. What if we're going to journey on? I don't know how to do an English accent, but I don't know. Call Roger Moore or somebody.
like I like some of these sayings though, because he uses other types of words, familiar sayings with the translation. For example, "Caunchis sunt unguibus ne nutrius" says, "Do not feed or take under your roof animals of ferocious and savage dispositions that have sharp and crooked claws." That sounds good, literally, but also I guess, metaphorically, it says,
Yeah.
it probably means, "Do not cherish a snake in your bosom or enter into a friendship with crafty and deceitful persons." So, for example, if you save a thief from the gallows, he will cut your throat.
The frog and the snake, the scorpion and the whatever the hell. I mean, they're all kind of telling you the same message. It's all kind of, however you tie it together. Hey, there's evil and there's good. I try to break it down as simple as that because that's pretty much how I see it.
Yeah.
I don't care what background you come from, what color you are, what your religion is. You're good or you're evil. That's who you are.
But what dictates good or evil? Is that natural to know what good or evil is? Or is there a certain religion or philosophy that dictates what evil and good is? What's your predisposition of what is good and what is evil?
Deep philosophical question because, really who's to define either one?
Now, if you follow natural law, that could be considered good and evil. Natural law is very similar to maybe Buddha's philosophy, do not cause harm.
Well, I think that's, common sense. I would give that to the general consensus, do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't hurt anybody. Let everyone else fucking live their lives too. Well, you got to come up behind me and stab me in the back, Tommy.
Oh, here's one. "Sibum in metallum ne imitas." Cast not the children's provision to the dogs. Meaning, talk not on moral or religious subjects. Talk not on moral or religious subjects before persons of loose manners who are disposed to ridicule everything that is grave and serious. So trolls. Okay. "Neither enter into arguments with persons who are obstinate or ignorant." So trolls. Damn.
Yeah,
So don't feed the trolls. You know what? We can do a translation into we could do like a current day translation of the adage of Erasmus. We can say, "Don't feed the trolls." There you go. That's a translation in today's terms. People will get it.
And when did trolls even become a word that we have to define? I thought trolls, when I grew up in the 80s or in the 70s, trolls were completely different.
So here's the thing from what I learned about trolling. So people confuse, like, trolling on the internet is actually like trolling like you would be trolling for fish. It's not trolling like being a troll underneath a bridge where you have to have people pay you a
giant net out.
Yeah, like a troll under the bridge is ugly, and so they just naturally associate a troll on the internet as someone who's ugly. But that's not where the trolling came from in the internet. What trolling originated from were people who were trying to make people just like fishing. You're just trying to catch a fish. You're just trying to catch someone who will stop what they're doing, whether it's online or on a podcast or someone who's commenting on forums and stuff like that, and get them so agitated that they'll respond to you in anger and just say a lot of things that just whatever. And then what you do is you retort to them. And usually how you'll know you're an online troll that did this in the past was you would misspell a word on purpose. And you would just pick on something that the other person said in reply and just stick to that and get them more angry. So you're just eliciting an emotional response from someone online, and so you are an online troll. You're trolling for people who would just keep feeding their emotions into something very just simple and dumb, right? Something that's just
All right,
going
I
on in
get
our
it.
life.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'm an old man. I'm still new
Yeah.
all to this stuff. But let me ask you another question.
okay,
What does the word execute? What does
execute.
that mean to you?
Two different words: to kill, and also to I'm trying to use a different word that's not the same word. To run, not in like to run away, but to complete, to start the sequence of completion. I guess would execute would be. So whether that's a plan or lines of code or whatever, that means to execute is to start the completion of. Or of course, to execute is, I guess if you're executing a person, it's to start the end of their life. Why?
All right. So then, when you get up there and you say, "I will execute the Constitution," with your right hand in the air, you know, it could mean anything, right?
Oh yeah,
Doesn't
you got
execute
two different words. True. There's
completely.
something else.
But, I will faithfully execute the Constitution of the United States. So what the fuck? How can execute mean two totally different things?
True. But the way that you said it sounds more like you're ending something, because the Constitution was already executed. I mean, started. If you start the turn of events, that's it was. So you don't have to execute it again, right? For example, if
it's
you
just one of those weird things. It sounds weird to me.
I mean, I see your point. Maybe that whole thing is to execute means to kill off. But then again, once you've executed something, you can't execute it again. Do you understand my point?
Well, then someone should tell that to all the people on the left, because they have no problem trying to execute the Constitution.
That is true. There was I keep thinking in word terms a lot, and that's why, of course, come pass. Everyone should come past whatever's at the North Pole, because that's the reason they named it compass. Same thing. Like execute is another good one. It's like means two different things, and one's quite one's the end of something, one's the start of something. That's just that is very weird. Anyways, anyone who's watching that usually comes on.
I just think it's an interesting word that they chose, that the president has to say. Every president, like, why that word? You can't say obey. I will faithfully obey the Constitution.
The president
I will faithfully defend the Constitution. I'll execute it. This way, if I fuck up, hey, at least I told you, assholes.
Yeah, it's true. Executive office, right? So does that mean your job is to execute, like kill off things? Well, it is both, right? Because with executive orders, you can either start something or you can end something using your executive powers. That is very interesting, the duality of that word.
And it's the final word.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess it all ties in the way with like the compasses and directions, like which direction started first. It's like, did that make sense to you how I was explaining that?
You always make sense to me, brother.
Okay.
I'm set in my ways. I'm an old man, but I love learning and listening, and always I'm a stubborn prick, but I still have an open mind. I always do.
Yeah. And like the series, the Awakening series that I'm gonna do is just the weird coincidences. It's just, which sometimes, I mean, it's just, the world is so weird. Doesn't it sometimes it makes sense when you watch those videos that we're living in like a matrix or some simulation, because the ones who are kind of more awakened and aware of what's going on, that you're always that black sheep of the family. It's like no one else in your family see things the same way as you, even though your family members are supposedly the ones who are closest to you in not only in your genetics but also in what you learn through nature, the nurturing aspect, sorry, right? Because you're living in the same household as your siblings or even your parents, and you're pretty much told the same thing from your parents. You're usually going to the same schools because you live in the same area, yet you totally have a different perspective on what things are in life as everyone else in your family, even though you should be, for example, 50% genetically identical to your siblings, and you're pretty, if you're in exactly the same age or very similar, 1 year off, you're pretty much exactly learning the same thing as your siblings as well, because they're going to the same school, the same daycare. You've got the same parents, hopefully, if they're not divorced. So I just find it a very odd thing.
The environment also always changes. The environment doesn't stay the same, and that's a big factor. What you're exposed to, what your peers are telling you.
Yeah, true. I mean, but still, there's the genetics thing to take into consideration as well. I mean, if one's more disposed to being,
absolutely,
I don't know, weird, shouldn't there be a chance? Any of your siblings, if you have a sibling, like if you have, some people have like a lot of siblings, and like say 6 other siblings, not one will think the same way as you. But a lot, like in this instance, a lot of siblings will think the same on other things. Like if you got siblings that are big into sports, they'll definitely agree with probably on all your sports talk. Someone who's really into politics, well, politics is a different matter. Family members can be very divided on politics, but
then why not on everything else?
But there's usually not like, it's not like one, but then there's the factor, because someone might say, well, I don't agree with the Democrats or the Republicans or whatever, anyone else, but maybe they're woke, so maybe that doesn't count. But I don't know. It's just it just feels weird that no other family members, anyone who's listening to anyone else as far as flat Earth or the psyops or voting cheatedness, or that all politics is a sham anyway, and all that stuff. No one has.
Well, when you were growing up, did you ever hear from your parents, if you asked a question about something when you were a little kid, and they were like, well, we didn't raise you that way?
I grew up with a very weird childhood. So, but no, I don't remember that.
Okay. Well, I was a very, I guess, different. I asked a lot of questions as a kid.
Yeah.
I was like, why? Well, we didn't raise you that way. That's why. I was like, okay, well, that makes no sense either. I don't get that.
Yeah. I was almost just kind of raised by myself. It was just a weird raising. I mean, my father put food on the table, paid the bills, but really didn't have time for me. I later found out that he had another family that he was kind of taking care of, so that's why he wasn't home very much. My mom always didn't get along with my father, so was out out working all the time in a different state, and she would come visit. So I'd see her a few months out of the year. My brother never got along with my father either, just like my mom. So once he went off to college, and he's like 4.5 years older than me, so by the time he went to college, I was about 13. So at that time, I'd see him maybe a month or 2 or 3 out of the year, every once in a while. And this is during the phone age, so we didn't talk much. We'd call. But when he'd visit, he'd be out with friends anyway. I'd be out with my friends. My father, I'd see like 5 to 10 minutes a day. He'd just leave lunch money and stuff. And so it was really weird growing up. I was just growing up by myself. I mean, I made all the decisions, really, what to eat, what to buy at the grocery store, what I saved my money for, what jobs I took, and you know, every once in a while, I when my family members came and we can talk about stuff, and I listen to what they say. It's like, this is how much money we have. This is the car you can get. Is that what you want? And it's like, yeah, I'm happy with having a car. I don't care about anything else.
Nice. Do you guys ever like get together now, or like
Oh yeah.
Thanksgiving type stuff, or?
I try to go. Like, my father's doesn't want any part of my life. I don't know why. He doesn't want any part of my.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Because I tried reaching out to him, and I know he stays with my aunt. They don't like me, I guess. Probably don't like my wife, or that I have half white kids, maybe. Or that I don't know. That might be it, or like that I might have treated my father bad, but he also treated me and my wife bad. So it's kind of that's the reason why I didn't treat my father very well. But my mom and my brother are my closest living family members that I visit. I try to visit at least once a year, but we talk at least probably once a week via Skype. And I do have relatives in Korea, but I don't really see them at all or talk to them much. I have two cousins. One, Joseph Kahn, is a very highly known music video director, and he's made music videos from a lot of things. He doesn't like being called he's part of the Illuminati or something like that. And once I started researching into like pedophilia and Pizzagate, he removed me as a friend from Facebook, and I was like, wow, really? Because we kind of grew up together. There's some weird things that he did, but that's stuff growing up. And so he has a sister. Her name's Joanne. She's a lawyer. I think she's over in Europe now and just kind of doing stuff in Europe. But I don't really talk to them anymore. Last time I met them was when another cousin's wedding, or my aunt's wedding, the youngest aunt on my dad's side. It's a really small family I have, really, it seems. I have nothing against them, but I guess they have something against me.
Yeah, I can relate. I have family members I'm super close with, and I have family members that would be happy never to talk ever again. So I mean, it's kind of weird. That everything is weird to me in life, Ebon. Everything is like, what the? How does this happen?
Things are very similar. Well, we have a very similar outtake on life. Maybe that's what it takes. Maybe those who have a similar past like us, we just end up with how we are now.
Everyone has an experience or a situation that people can relate with.
Yeah, that is true.
We're human beings.
Yeah.
And by the way, my niece, who is now my nephew, is in Korea.
He had
did.
Oh, okay. Did a female to male transition.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How old is he?
Are you gonna bill me for this psychological session? Because I'm like
you're the one who brought it up.
Well, no, what the hell, man? The cat's out of the bag. We're talking about Korea, and I just thought I'd bring it up. So yeah, my niece then became my nephew at I don't know what age. I don't even know how old she is. I want to say she, but now it's he.
Yeah.
It's I'm so twisted, man.
Does he? Well, we call them, I guess, what they are now.
Probably like 24, but did the mastectomy, did the whole thing, hormone shots. Still, And,
does he feel okay? Do the Koreans stigmatize him for that, or do they not care? Or is it just? It depends on the person.
I don't think so, because he loves it there. He don't want to come back.
Ryan's here.
He was,
We can talk about esoteric stuff. First time ever. Conspiracy theories with Ryan Bannock. How you doing?
Agent Ryan reporting for duty. What's up, big boy?
What's going on?
Hey, so those uploads you did on YouTube.
Yeah, they were
just...
friends. I put them on the wrong account.
Okay, I was like, damn, Ryan, you look good.
Yeah, grab my hang on.
No, I'm talking about...
So, Ryan, how did you lose the 30 pounds? What's your secret?
He abstained
Sorry,
he abstained from beans. We're going back to the Proverbs. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how'd you lose 30 pounds?
Just exercise and eating right.
Well,
I'm emo.
That just seems too simple. So what medicine did you take, and where can I buy it?
I stopped one of my medications, so that helped.
Oh no! Seriously, that's not how you're supposed to say things, Eric. Ryan, I called you Eric. About losing weight.
If Ryan cut his hair, he'd lose another 10 pounds.
Now
it looks like I'm wearing a wig.
You look like Justin Bieber with a beard when you have your hair that way.
I'm better looking.
God bless you and your full head of hair, man. That's a nice set of locks you got.
Yeah, it's surprising that we have some hair. I mean, I have probably a little worried loss of hair, and of course, the reason my skin's so nice and oily is because I put coconut oil that has magnesium in it. Because I have dry skin. So it's my makeup. I'm sorry.
You have such a dainty little butterfly side to you sometimes.
Me? Or Ryan? Ryan, right?
I don't know. Both you guys, little primpy little.
If you guys notice, I got a third eye pimple.
The weird thing is, everybody in my family is bald as Badger, and I'm got a full head of hair. I don't think I'm my dad's kid, but I am. I look exactly like him. So,
does your dad have hair?
That's I'm just resentful at you guys because you have better hair than I do.
And we're both 40.
Are you bald, Nash?
No, I'm not. I have a bald spot. You know, I kind of have like a monk. That little.
Did you wear a lot of baseball caps or ball caps?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. So it's not a natural baldness; it's just because of that. So
what? That is a bunch of crap.
No,
I don't believe that. 1 minute.
People who wear ball caps or just hair, just a lot of hats, naturally they lose their hair. They get bald. It's a pattern baldness. It's always usually back there or usually in the front because it's too tight. My father was the same way.
I got the same bald spot that
it's probably
the people before me.
Yeah, probably because they wore the same hats.
People had bald spots before hats were invented.
People also become bald because they wear hats all the time. I don't wear hats.
Well, I can see that. You know,
Ryan
but I know a lot of
ball.
I know a lot of ball players who have great heads of hair.
But maybe they wear it loose. I don't know.
Oh, okay. blame the hat.
I'm saying I think it's just hats have something to do with it. Probably sometimes, not all the time. Who knows? I mean, if I point to a science article on it, no one would know it's true or not. Probably they'd say no. Hats don't cause baldness because everyone who sells hats would be out of business, and so they're not going to.
You know what it is? It's because the hats are made in China.
Okay, so if hats.
Can you get an American baseball hat made in America?
It'll cost you $150.
Absolutely.
That's why the Chinese put that balding agent in their baseball hats.
They put lead in their hats. That's why it's so heavy. And this is probably why everyone balds. Okay, maybe we'll do an open topic. We'll switch to one because we're really off subject, and It's an hour and a half. Okay, so I'll do an open topic. You guys want to stay on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Good.
People who are watching, that means the four of you, me, Ryan, and Agent Nash, and someone else. We'll be back. The stream will be offline. I don't know why I say such things. Maybe I do have more people watching, but who knows?